Welcome to Lotus Lane Daily. I'm glad you're here. Today's wisdom is for anyone going through something hard. You know that feeling when someone asks how you are and you say fine, and the word comes out flat because the truth would take too long and you do not have the energy to say it? Inside, you are scraped clean. Not sad, exactly. Not even upset. Just empty. The things that used to move you do not move you. A friend tells you, good news, and you perform the right reaction while feeling nothing underneath. You get through the day on autopilot and then lie down at night still tired, because the kind of tired you are does not come off with sleep. That is emotional exhaustion. It is different from being busy or stressed. Stress is when there is too much to do. This is when there is nothing left in you to do it with. The feeling part of you has been running without a break for so long that it has simply gone quiet. If that is where you are tonight, I want to say the first thing clearly. You are not cold. You are not broken. You are not failing at being a person. You are a person who has been giving out emotional energy faster than it could be replaced for a long time, and now the account is overdrawn. That is not a character flaw. That is arithmetic. Why it happens, and why it sneaks up. Emotional energy is a real finite resource, even though nobody hands you a meter for it. Every hard conversation spends some. Every time you absorb someone else's stress, manage your own fear, hold it together when you would rather fall apart, stay patient when you are at your limit, you spend some. And here's the trap. Most of us were taught to monitor our physical tiredness and money and time, but never our emotional reserves. So we keep withdrawing from an account we cannot see, and we only find out it is empty when something we used to feel just does not arrive. It sneaks up because the early signs look like virtue. You are coping so well. You are so reliable. You never complain. People praise you for exactly the behavior that is quietly draining you, which makes it almost impossible to notice that anything is wrong until the numbness sets in. And the numbness itself is not the enemy. It is protection. When a system is running too low, it starts shutting off non-essential functions to preserve what is left. The flatness you feel is your mind doing emergency conservation. It is not a sign that you have stopped caring. It is a sign that you cared so much, for so long with so little coming back that something had to give. Why pushing through does not work. The instinct when you feel this empty is to push harder. Just get through the week. Just keep going. But you cannot push your way out of an emotional deficit any more than you can push your way out of being underslept. Effort is not the missing ingredient. Recovery is. Pushing through emotional exhaustion does the same thing as running an engine with no oil. It does not build strength. It causes damage. An old collection of letters written centuries ago made a point about health that is worth hearing here. Health is not simply the absence of illness. It is a dynamic state of vitality in which we can take on any challenge. By that measure, getting through your days while feeling nothing is not health. It is the absence of collapse, which is a much lower bar. Real recovery is not about returning to functional. It is about having something in reserve again, having some life in you. And that does not come from trying harder. It comes from being refilled. What actually helps? Name it and stop arguing with it. A surprising amount of the strain comes from the second layer, the part of you scolding the exhausted part. Why can I not just feel things? What is wrong with me? Drop that argument. Say to yourself, plainly, I am emotionally exhausted, and that is a real condition with a real cause. Naming it accurately takes the shame off, and shame is itself a heavy withdrawal from the very account you are trying to refill. Cut the outflow before you worry about the inflow. You cannot fill a tub with the drain open. Look honestly at where your emotional energy is going, which relationships take and never give, which obligations you keep out of guilt, which news, which feeds, which group chats leave you worse. You do not have to fix all of it. Pick one or two of the biggest drains and reduce them even temporarily. Protecting your energy is not selfish, it is maintenance. Lower the bar honestly, on purpose. While you are this depleted, do less and decide to do less rather than failing to do more by accident. Cancel the thing. Order the simple dinner. Let the house be untidy. The standards you hold on a full tank are not the standards for a recovery period. Meeting a smaller bar on purpose protects you. Missing a bigger bar by collapse costs you twice. Find the small things that put energy back and do them without justifying them. Refilling is quiet and unglamorous. Time alone with no demands, a walk with no destination, real daylight, a long bath, sitting with a pet, a slow morning where nothing is required of you. These are not indulgences. They are how the account gets refilled. You do not have to earn rest by being productive first. Rest is the work right now. Let one or two people actually give to you. Emotionally exhausted people are often the ones who give and never receive, partly out of habit, partly because receiving feels unfamiliar and a little uncomfortable. A 13th century letter described compassion this way: compassion is not about feeling pity for others. It is about sharing their suffering and working together to overcome it. You are allowed to be on the receiving end of that. Tell one trusted person you are running on empty, and then let them help, and resist the urge to immediately repay it. Practice just receiving. The feeling will come back. The scariest part of emotional exhaustion is the quiet fear that the numbness is permanent, that you have used yourself up and you will never feel things in full color again. You will. The flatness is not the death of your capacity to feel. It is that capacity resting because it had no other choice. Emotion is not something you have run out of forever. It is a function that has been switched to low power to protect you, and it switches back on when the conditions are safe enough and the reserves come back up. The same old writings noticed how this works. If you are feeling exhausted, if you are feeling defeated, that is often a sign that you are close to a breakthrough. Keep going. Not keep going by pushing harder. Keep going by staying with yourself through the empty stretch, trusting that depletion is a phase and not a permanent state. Be gentle with yourself tonight. You did not get emotionally exhausted by being weak. You got here by caring, by carrying, by showing up again and again, often for people and things that gave little back. The exhaustion is, in a strange way, evidence of how much you have given. Now the giving has to point inward for a while, not forever, just until there is something in the tank again. Start tonight by doing nothing useful at all, on purpose, without guilt. Rest is not you failing. Rest is the repair. The version of you that feels things, that laughs without forcing it, that gets moved by good news is not gone. They are just tired, and they are waiting for you to make it safe enough to come back. Give them that. You have given everyone else so much. Some of it can come home now. That's the wisdom for today. If something here landed for you, share it with one person who might need to hear it too. Take it slow. I'll see you tomorrow on Lotus Lane Daily.